Hello, everyone online. Hopefully you can see me cut out like last week. Last week, the online, something happened. It just kind of cut out right in the middle of the meditation. And something happened to Jeff the day before as well, I found out. So some sort of glitch or something like that. The temple goes down, who knows? All right, let's get started. Wait, almost. Not quite. Welcome everybody to the Wednesday night loving kindness meditation. My name is Alex. It's wonderful to be here with you today, as it is every Wednesday when I lead this meditation. So before we start, is there anyone here who this is your first time to the Dharma Bum Temple? Really? Awesome. Well, did your friend bring you?
Yes, she did.
Awesome, thank you. Anyone, this is not your first time to the Dharma Bum Temple, but it is your first time to Wednesday. All right, good. Well, then what we're going to do in this class is we're going to have this little introduction. We're going to have a meditation on loving kindness, which I'm going to guide, and I'm going to kind of talk about here as part of the introduction. And then we're going to open it up for questions, etc. So, when we talk about loving kindness, the word that we're talking about is metta, M-E-T-T-A. It comes from the Pali language. That is pretty close to what we think the historical Buddha spoke. And welcome. And this word, when translated into English 2,500 years later, can mean a lot of things, right? Unconditional friendliness, loving kindness, goodwill, amity, concord, inoffensiveness, so many different things. And so these different types of definitions come in really handy when we're doing this meditation for different people. So if we're doing this meditation for, let's say, the enemy, loving kindness doesn't really come tripping off the tongue, and it doesn't really emanate easily from the heart, so different translations or different meanings can be really, really helpful. So there's that. And then when we talk about also loving kindness, it's not just a meditation, it's a way that we are told how to live our lives in such a way that will lead to enlightenment, that will lead to the end of suffering. And so this is set forth in the Metta Sutra, in which I would like to read. These are the supposedly the Buddha's words from 2,500 years ago. And it goes, "This is what should be done by one who is skilled in goodness and who knows the path of peace. Let them be able and upright, straightforward and gentle in speech, humble and not conceited, contented and easily satisfied, unburdened with duties and frugal in their ways, peaceful and calm and wise and skillful, not proud or demanding in nature. Let them not do the slightest thing that the wise would later reprove, wishing, in gladness and in safety, may all beings be at ease. Whatever living beings there may be, whether they are weak or strong, omitting none, the great or the mighty, medium, short, or small, the seen and the unseen, those living near and far away, those born and to be born, may all beings be at ease. Let none deceive another or despise any being in any state. Let none, through anger or ill will, wish harm upon another. Even as a mother protects with her life her child, her only child, so with a boundless heart should one cherish all living beings, radiating kindness over the entire world, spreading upwards to the skies and downwards to the depths, outwards and unbounded, freed from hatred and ill will, whether standing or walking, seated or lying down, free from drowsiness, one should sustain this recollection. This is said to be the sublime abiding. By not holding to fixed views, the pure-hearted one, having clarity of vision, being freed from all sense desires, is not born again into this world. That's beautiful. I love reading it, which I do almost every week now. And this was as relevant, 2,500 years ago as it is today. And this is how the Buddha, it asks us to live our lives, to reduce our suffering, to end our suffering, to help reduce the suffering of others. And so we're going to do a meditation here that will kind of help with that. So in the loving kindness meditation, and the way we do it here, it's kind of in 4 parts, 5 if you count the introduction. So we're just going to spend a few minutes kind of getting connected to the breath, right? Because you always want to have about 25% of your attention on the breath in this meditation. You always want to stay connected to the present so you can really maximize kind of what you're doing in the loving kindness meditation, right? And, at first, you're just kind of follow the breath in and out. And after a while, after hopefully just a couple of minutes or so, hopefully you can, because the breath is an energy, you will just feel the energy of the breath in the body. And the breath should kind of what we call kind of tranquilize the body. The body will become tranquil. It will become filled with the breath. Right? So you'll be alert, but the body will be relaxed. Right? And then when we begin our meditation on loving kindness, first we're going to do it for a benefactor. And again, a benefactor is anyone who has shown you great love or great kindness, someone it's really easy to have these feelings for. Not a romantic partner, but like anybody else. Mother, father, brother, sister, aunt, uncle, grandma, grandpa. They could be living, they could be not living, that doesn't matter. A favorite teacher or something. Best friend. And so we're just going to do this practice for them. And I'll kind of talk about that during the meditation. And then we're going to imagine our benefactor doing this practice for us. Now, we already have the experience of our benefactor's love and kindness. We've already experienced that in our own heart. Right? So we're just going to recall that and imagine them doing this practice for us. And here is where we're going to just receive, again, all of their love and all of their kindness. And you can even put your hand over your heart if you want to do that. And then we're going to do this practice for ourselves. And then we're going to do this practice for all beings, and then we'll end, and then we'll have a short, quiet time, and then we'll take questions and things like that. It's so nice, and it's not quite as hot as I thought it was going to be. And that fan feels so good. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. All right. Are there any questions before we start? Oh, also before we start, for anyone who's sitting in a chair or a pew, if your feet don't easily reach the floor, you can actually put them on a cushion. So you can take a cushion and just rest your feet on the cushion if you want to do that. That's perfectly acceptable. I'm trying to make this as easy as possible for you, to make you as comfortable as possible while doing this. Okay, no one online had anything, so let's begin. So just allow your eyes to close, making sure you have that comfortable, sustainable position so you're not likely to move around too much. And when we sit like a Buddha. And you can imagine yourselves as a Buddha sitting underneath your own tree of enlightenment, because each Buddha historically has their own tree. It could be an oak tree or a sequoia or a willow tree that bends easily. Anything you want. You can imagine yourselves as a Buddha getting ready for the days abiding, for this practice of loving kindness. At first, just getting connected to the breath. So at first, just take a deep breath all the way in and all the way out. Not forcing it, letting it be quite easy and quite natural. And just paying attention at the base of the nostrils, focusing your breath there, focusing on your breath there as you breathe in and you breathe out. After a short time, just feeling the breath energy just go throughout the body, relaxing the body, yet energizing it too. All the way in, all the way out. Making friends with the breath. After a while, just taking that breath that's going to be comfortable for you. Maybe it's a deeper breath or a shallower breath, but always pay attention to the breath, making sure that you're connected to the present. Just take whatever breath is going to keep you there. So we'll get familiar with the breath for the next couple of moments. And so to begin our practice of loving kindness, we're first going to think of a benefactor. And again, a benefactor is anyone who has shown us great love or great kindness. Someone it's really easy to have these feelings for. You can know them, you can not know them, they can be living, they can be dead. There's a lot of flexibility here, so let's just choose one or more. And you can either just radiate loving kindness to them, just picture them in your mind's eye and just radiate loving kindness to them, and however you understand that word, wishing them happiness, wishing they do the things that cause happiness. Or you can just repeat phrases of loving kindness for them or to them. Phrases like, may you be happy. May you be safe from inner and outer danger. May you be well in body and mind. May you be at peace and live at ease in this world. It always helps to smile if you can. Puts the mind in a really good mood. So for the next few moments, we'll do this practice for our benefactor. And shifting our focus just a little bit from doing this for our benefactor to now imagining our benefactor doing this practice for us. And again, we already have the experience of their love and their kindness in our own heart. So can we now just call that to mind and imagine our benefactor in our mind just doing this practice for us, either radiating loving kindness or repeating the phrases of loving kindness. And we're smiling, and maybe if you want to put your hand over your heart and just let all of their loving kindness into your heart. Let it all in, without exception. If there are any areas of tension or tightness, any part of your heart that says, no, I can't let this in, it's okay, and this is really normal. What we do then is we take a deep breath all the way in, all the way out. And on the out breath, just directing that breath energy to that area of tightness and tension. Maybe it loosens a little. If it does, great. If it doesn't, that's fine too. Just let in as much as you can. And so for the next few moments, we'll imagine our benefactor doing this practice for us. And now, turning this practice back on to ourselves, can we now do this practice for ourselves? And at first, for some people, certainly for me when I first started, this was really, really difficult, doing loving kindness for myself. But can you just call to mind your own wish to be happy, your own wish to be safe and free from danger, healthy, protected? It's a wish that everybody has for themselves, whether they know it or not. We may not go about it in the same way or even in a skillful way. But it's a wish we all have for ourselves. It's okay to admit that. You can do this by just kind of imagining your heart getting bigger and warmer and just kind of radiating loving kindness back onto yourself. Or you could just use these phrases of loving kindness for yourself. Phrases like, again, may I be happy. May I be safe from inner and outer danger. May I be well in body and mind. May I be at peace and live at ease in this world. Be very gentle when you do this practice for yourself. There's no need to force it. You can even pretend like you're like whispering it to yourself very gently. Just calling to your own heart. So now we'll do this practice of loving kindness for ourselves. And now finally, can we just do this practice for all beings in all directions? Just like it says in the Metta Sutta that I just read, the heart has this limitless potential. Every one of you has the potential for including everyone in your loving kindness. That's the potential of the heart. And so can we explore this potential just by doing this practice for all beings in all directions? Whatever living beings there may be, whether they are weak or small, omitting none, the great or the mighty, medium, short, or small. The seen and the unseen, those living near and far away, those born and to be born, may all beings be at ease. Spreading upwards to the skies and downwards to the depths, outwards and unbounded. And we'll do that to end our meditation. Loving kindness for all beings. Just open your eyes when you're ready. And let's just take the next moment or two out in silence as you stretch your arms and you stretch your legs, keeping that mindfulness of loving kindness about you, keeping that with you. I'm going to do this just for the next 60 seconds, and then if you have a question, we'll take questions and do that. Any questions on the instructions at all? Hopefully they were relatively straightforward. All right. I'm always interested in what your experience of meditation is, parts that were really easy or even, really challenging. What you experienced in meditation that maybe you weren't expecting, or that you were happy about, or anything like that. I'm always just interested in people's experience of meditation. So, anybody want to?
I feel a lot better.
Yeah, feel a lot better.
Yeah.
Good. Did you come in here just kind of stressed out, or?
Yeah, just a long day.
Just a long day?
Yeah, it just really helps to ground and center.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Good. I'm glad. Thank you. I appreciate that. Anyone else?
I don't know why, but I was thinking about, I don't know if anyone's ever seen The Grinch.
Yeah, we've all seen The Grinch, I hope.
And when they talk about how his heart grew so big, I was thinking that's really what I would like to have happen with me.
Right.
My heart just grew so big.
Yeah.
That hurt.
I love that you mentioned that, just because I have used that exact analogy when describing loving kindness for oneself. Because when we think of ourselves, and doing loving kindness for ourselves, sometimes we can't even feel it because it seems like something so foreign, and there's just a lot of resistance to it just because of the, traumatizing nature of our culture, and so what I say is, like, just pretend your heart is getting, 3 sizes larger, and it's getting warmer and bigger, just like the Grinch. That's how we feel about our heart is so often. We feel that about our own heart. Well, it's not really that way, but that's kind of because we don't really take the time to do a whole lot of self-reflection on that and loving kindness for ourselves. But when we do that, like I said, the heart has this limitless capacity, this limitless potential, if we would only explore it. So that's why it's really important to do, or one of the many reasons why it's important to do loving kindness for yourself, and to have that feel good, and to have that wonderful feeling in your own heart. Because when you feel that wonderful feeling in your own heart, you don't want anyone else to miss out on that. It becomes this kind of endless, just kind of wellspring of goodwill emanating from you. You know, it just happens. It just happens. It's almost like automatic after a while. Because you feel amazing, you want everyone else to feel amazing too. So I love that analogy. That's so fantastic. So thank you for that. It's awesome.
I knew we were in loving kindness meditation when we first sat, and there was just such a delightful giggle of someone in the room.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nice to practice loving kindness. It's a great meditation.
Thank you. It is, and hopefully, and that's the thing, and that's the kind of energy that I would prefer in the room. Like being happy and kind of lighthearted, and so often we come to spiritual practice, and it's really kind of a dour thing. It's like, I'm going to meditate, I'm going to get all this suffering out of me, and it's like you just clench your fists and all like that. I was like, no, don't do that. I understand why people do that, because so often, almost all the time, we come to spiritual practice. Why? Because we're suffering in some way, and many times we're just suffering a lot, and so it's really natural just to be kind of dour and whatever. But like I've said many times, the most important quality you can bring to your spiritual practice, especially if you're new, is a good sense of humor. Like a really good sense of humor, because this is all new stuff, and it's really, really difficult work. And so we have to bring the right attitude towards it, knowing that, hey, yeah, I'm gonna screw up here probably. I'm probably gonna screw up big. I'm probably gonna lose my temper, and I'm probably gonna say the wrong thing and do the wrong thing and all those different types of stuff, and probably feel really embarrassed. And the more that you can laugh at yourself and have the right attitudes, like, well, okay, I made a mistake, I'm just going to try to not do that again, instead of like belittling yourself and like we so often do, like, I made mistakes, I'm bad, that kind of thing. And to really kind of personalize that, say, nope, I made a mistake, I don't feel good about it, but I'm going to endeavor to not do that again. And that's what we do with meditation so often, especially when we lose focus, or when our mind gets lost in thought. So often, it's so easy just to kind of get down on ourselves. We should remember to not do that, to be very gentle with ourselves. Take a couple more questions in a minute, but one of the things that I was thinking about during the meditation that actually happened this morning is I am on a Facebook group for this kind of spiritual group that's not Buddhist, but does a lot of meditation. It's not Buddhist meditation, but it's that different types of meditation. And there was this young man who wrote a post saying, and he's written several posts, similar posts over the years. I did this meditation and this meditation and that meditation, and I didn't experience what I was hoping to experience, and I don't know if this is working, and I'm, and he was saying that, I've been doing this for so long now, and nothing is coming true, or nothing is happening for me. After doing all this meditation, I'm near homeless. I'm near being homeless again, and just things haven't really worked out for me. And he's I did this meditation and this meditation and this meditation, had this experience, and I didn't like it, and I had this and did this and this and this and this, all relating to meditation. And I felt really, really bad for this man, and I didn't reply, because in this group there's going to be like a boatload of people who will reply. So I didn't want to do that. but it hit me hard, and it's a wonderful reminder that this practice is a practice. This meditation practice is a practice. And what is it a practice for? Well, it's a practice for the rest of our day, or until the next time that we meditate. We meditate, and when we get out of meditation, we're supposed to practice what the Metta Sutra says, and how to act, and how to behave, and how to think about things, and whether it's loving kindness or mindfulness or whatever it is, we're supposed to act in a way that will enrich our lives and enrich the lives of others. And there's still the daily grind that we have to do, even though we meditate every day. We have to go to work, and we have to find a job, or we have to go to school, and we have to do all of these things, and all life's responsibilities that we have to do. We still have to do all of these things, and you just can't say that, oh, I'm meditating and nothing's happening. This Buddhist practice is a practice of action. It's a practice of doing, whether we're doing it in meditation or out experiencing our day. We have to bring the practice out to the streets and bring the practice out to our daily lives. And, pound the pavement and get the job, and, whatever else that we have to do. Because life can be really, really hard. And now, especially, it's not just the US, it's worldwide. It's even getting harder. Inflation is crazy. And I guarantee you, wages has not gone up with inflation. Rents have gone up 39% in San Diego over last year. 39%. That's bonkers. That's absolutely bonkers. It's so much harder for people who are renting just to live. So it's just like added stress on top of a pandemic. So it's just getting harder for us, which makes this practice really even more important, I think. To respond in a different way, other than all of the, frustration and anger and all the things we see and going on in the news, etc. Just something to remember.
I think that was a good point, because there seems to be this idea of non-doing in meditation.
Yeah.
Because it is so still.
Uh-huh.
And I think also, especially when you're new to the practice, or if you're in youth, it can be easy to get that delusion that meditation means manifestation. Yeah.
Yeah, you just said one of my buzzwords that it's triggering for me. I'm just metaphorically, I'm not going to lash out. Because you're right. It's even in meditation, like this loving kindness meditation, you're doing something. You're imagining this, and you're doing this. You're repeating these phrases, or for your benefactor, or yourself, or all beings, or you're doing something in this meditation. And even when it's a mindfulness meditation, you're watching in your mind, and you're always doing something. You're watching your breath. You're paying attention to whether you're paying attention to the present moment, whether you're in the present moment or not, or are you lost in thought? And if you are lost in thought, then there's something else to do, which is bringing yourself back to the present. So often, kind of like you said, they think of this meditation as like a choiceless awareness. You're just kind of like sitting there, not doing anything, just kind of blissing out, or whatever that is. And it's like, that's not the meditation that we really do here in Buddhism. We're doing something for our benefit and the benefit of others. And it's funny you said manifestation, because, oh Lordy. Oh, man.
That's your trigger word?
Whenever I hear that word, You know, yeah, and I get it. I get it. And it's the fault of like The Secret and, you know, whatever else that's based on. And, you know, using the universe as your personal ATM machine, and that's spiritual. And I'm like, oh, no, just no. Please don't do that.
But even just by definition, right? If maybe your story was conveyed that that young man was meditating and that was why he was confounded with confusion about not having gotten a job.
Mm-hmm.
Meditation isn't going to create the direct action of applying for jobs. You have to do the work that leads to the
Right.
result.
You have to put in the application. You have to go to the websites or whatever, however you do that, and do the work to get the job or to get the apartment or whatever that might be. Yeah.
This kind of falls right in line with something I've been thinking about, and it's directly what this young man is doing we have expectations about outcomes. How do we resist the urge to feed into that? Oh, I really want this to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, we really want loving kindness to happen
Sure.
to people, but we have these sort of maybe selfish manifestation desires.
Sure.
We
Of
want.
course, it's normal. Yeah, absolutely.
We want a relationship to happen,
Mhm.
resolve, or a new one to occur.
Yeah.
or
You almost said my other trigger word. I'm glad you didn't think of it.
Right. So I mean, how do you know to tell yourself, ooh, wait a minute, I'm expecting an outcome.
Yeah, and it's really hard, especially when you first come to spiritual practice, because you come to spiritual practice, you're suffering, and you just want something. I just want the job. I just want to feel better. I don't want to be depressed. I don't want to be anxious. I don't want to be any of those things. I want, my partner to stop treating me like crap. Those different types of things, and it's so natural, the inclination is to, have a results-based kind of meditation. But, what we're trying to do in meditation is just reduce our suffering. See the way in which we cause our suffering moment to moment and break that cycle so that we can then take the action when we're not in so much suffering. Don't take the action from a place of suffering, take the action from more of a place of awareness so that our actions will be much more skillful. So we can do that. But a lot of times, they don't want to hear that when they first come here because they're so beat down. So you can't necessarily start from that place. And so it's depending on where you are is kind of where you have to kind of tailor your kind of meditations a lot of times. And my other trigger word is twin flames.
What is it?
Twin flames. But it's time to go. So Chuck, where's our host? That is you. Our host has a few announcements and then we'll end.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Cliff.
Oh, Cliff. I called you Chuck. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay, Chuck.
My friend just called. His name is Chuck.
The Dharma Bum Temple was established 15 years ago to introduce Buddhist practice to those who show up. Those who lead are not nuns, monks, gurus, masters, or teachers, and are not looking for students. They are simply practitioners sharing their interpretation of the practice with others. Just about every night we have different classes led by different people from various Buddhist traditions. We have a recovery sangha that meets several times a week for anyone battling addictions to drugs, alcohol, or anything else. a family song hop for parents, kids, toddlers, and teens, which currently meets once a month. And we also offer a half-day silent retreat the first Saturday of the month with an RSVP required. Everything we offer here is always free, so when I send the collection plate around, understand it's going in my pocket.